Last week I attended this here craft night here in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I was finishing this here sock as I was there, and surprisingly many people there, as well as elsewhere I have heard that, are saying that turning the heel of a sock is difficult. That you could make the rest of the sock, but that the heel is difficult. So even though my channel is mainly crochet, I decided to do one video where I just show the turning of the heel. That goes the basic way I do it. I have this other video that shows the entire basic sock, so you can check that one out as well. In Finland, where I live, everybody needs woolly socks a lot of the time. So I don't know how many socks I have knitted in my life. It is certainly many hundreds, and it might be over 1,000. I learned this way that I'm showing now first from my mother, and everybody also needed to knit socks at school. Not sure if they still do in Finnish schools. They do have crafts, knitting and crochet. And my daughters, who are now in their 30s, they all had to learn to knit a sock, but they don't do it anymore. So let's see how we do it. There are many different ways. The way I do it isn't near the only one, but I'm only showing it that one way. Close by, this here heel looks like this. It's a very basic reinforced heel. The reinforced means that it is stronger and more durable because it grows slower when we slip every second stitch without knitting on one side. And I'm going to do that on the purl side. And we turn the heel by decreases on both sides. And in case somebody's wondering how I did this here ribbing bit, it's called the fake or mock cable, and I have this here video about how you do that. So since I'm only going to do the heel, I have this short cuff, and I'm using a set of 5 short bamboo double pointed needles, 13 centimeter ones. The needles are size 2.5 millimeter. And it's double knitting weight. I have 56 stitches for this sock, 14 per needle, but the idea is exactly the same regardless of how many stitches you have. The only difference is that how many stitches you leave in the middle of the heel. So my round starts here, and I'm going to use exactly half of the stitches for the heel. So that is the first 2 needles of it. So you simply knit the first 2 needles. Whichever way you knit does not change. So here's 1 needle, and then I knit all the stitches on the second needle. Here, and these here too, you just leave them be there. You don't need to do anything about them. And now we turn. And now on every purl row we slip every second stitch without knitting. I know some people do that on the knit row. I find it handier and easier to do it on the purl row. So you slip the first one, purl the next one, slip the next one, and again purl, slip, purl, slip, and so on, right through this needle and the next one. And now, since I have an even number of stitches on my needle, I will always finish with a purl, not with a slip. And then take the other one and do exactly the same. Slip, purl, slip, purl, and so on until the end of the needle. And these 2 rows is simply what we now repeat many times. So we see that here. So until we come to this here bit, we just repeat these 2 rows there now. And the length of this bit that you do depends on the size of the sock. It's always the same idea. There are many ways of how you calculate how long it is. One is that you would do it approximately the length of a thumb. This isn't quite that much. I'll go a bit further and then I calculate the rows. So now I am at the start of where the heel is going to be. And again, these stitches on those 2 needles, they just stay there. But the first one you slip, an edge that will be easy to pick up stitches later. And through this whole row, you just knit every stitch, completely ignoring the fact that on the previous row you slipped every second stitch. So that's half of them, and then the other half. There. And again, turn. And this here, I'll do this one more time. And then we see how many rows we need. So you always slip the first one. And then purl, slip, and purl, and so on. Every second one slipped, slip and purl, slip and purl. And if, like me, you have an even number of stitches, then the last one always is purled, not slipped. And now I'll do the other side. So starting here with slipping and so on. And I'll go like that to the end there. It looks like that. The slipped stitches are there. The yarn jumps from one to the other and turn. And now I'll do that back and forth 2 more times, and then we look at counting the stitches, because every second stitch has a different number of rows. Here now I have knitted a bit more, and we see now that every second vertical row is different. So now we continue this, and I'll continue it so much that the larger stitches, if you count the rows 1, 2 and 3 there, and there's twice as many here, and there's twice as many in every second one. So count the bigger stitches. That's where the skipping is behind. And continue like this back and forth, exactly the same, and counting these larger stitches. Here I have 3 now, not counting what I have on the needle. So continue until you have 12 of those. Just going back and forth until there's 12 like that there. And leave it at the end of the knit row. So here we are. When I count these larger stitches here, there's 12 rows of them. And I have finished the knit row without those skippings. And so the yarn is in here. And there is a specific reason why I would always start the decreases on a purl row, which we'll see when we are finished. I'll explain it only then. We have the finished sock here. And with that, we see that the middle bit in between the decreases that are here and there, here and here, remains the same width. So we will always have the same number of stitches in the middle, and little by little we get rid of the stitches on the side. For this size, I will have 12 stitches in the middle, the ones that we are not going to decrease, and that's 6 on both of the needles in the middle. Now I know that some people divide the stitches in some ways on the needles, but I would never do that. I think that's just complicated. So I'm starting now on that purl row, and the first decrease will be on the second needle, not on this here one that I'm starting on. So I'll do this needle just normally. And the slipping every second stitch continues right through the whole time that we do the turning. So I'll finish this needle. And now then we'll do first 6 before the decrease. So slip, purl, slip, purl, slip and purl. That's 6, 2, 4, 6. And then we purl the next 2 together. So purl the next 2 together, these 2. There. So now we have 7 stitches on this here needle. And then we turn. So we do not touch any of these at the moment. Turn. And slip the first stitch and then knit the rest, those 6. There. And here we'll do the same, that we first count 6 and then we decrease. So we knit 6 stitches. Is that 6 now? Yes, that's 6. And then we decrease. But here we decrease the way that you first slip the stitch and then you knit the next one and you pull the slipped one over the one that you had knitted. So that is what causes that there's starting to be a row going that way there. So again here also we have 7 stitches now. And then you turn. So again, at the moment we don't touch these here, the rest of the stitches. And now we need to check that we continue the slipping the same way as before. And I find it always easiest then to count that I remember that I always purled the last one. So I purl that one, slip that one, purl that one, slip that one, and purl that one. And now there's 2 left, which means that I will need to slip 2 of those without purling, without just slipping them. So slip and slip. If you had a different number of stitches to start with, you wouldn't need to slip 2. Like if I have a thicker yarn and less stitches, then I would do only 5 here. So then there wouldn't be 2 to slip. And now I continue. So purl, slip, purl, slip and purl. There. And now we will simply continue the same that we did there. So you slip 1, purl 1, the first 6. Again, slip every second one. And here again, now you take this one that we had from the previous decrease and the next one. And you purl those 2 together now. There. So that way every row there's 1 stitch less in this here side. And then turn again. And then the same, slip that there stitch and knit the rest. Just normally. So those 7. And then the other needle, you knit 6. So we have the 6 here, and then this here that is from the previous decrease. So slip that without knitting and knit the next one like that, and then pull the slipped stitch over the one you knitted. So it's starting to turn there. And then turn the work, and again we need to slip 2 if you have the same number of stitches, and otherwise continue the same, slip and purl. And then here again, slip, purl the first 6 stitches, 6 here, and purl the next 2 together. So the one from the previous decrease and take another one from that there side of those stitches there and purl them together. And then turn. So we see now that with every row this number of stitches here on the side is decreasing. And again then slip the first one and knit across to the other decreases we have. So here knit those 6 stitches there and slip, knit and pull over it there and turn and again slip 2 and go to the other side and here there's the 6 and then purl 2 together. And this is what we continue. Now we see that it has already clearly started to turn there, and these here stitches in the side, they are, well, those rows simply stop there. Both sides, like that. So continue the same now, and I'll come back when I have only one left on both sides. So here, now I have nearly finished the turning bit. There's 1 stitch left there and 1 stitch left there. And these 6, and now I'm knitting these last 2 together. And now we will come to why I always start this on the purl side, and therefore also we finish those side stitches. We finish the turning on the purl side, working on the purl side. So this is what it looks like now on the right side. And the reason for this is that now after we will have finished that one, we can then directly continue picking up the stitches from the side that needs to be done next. But I'll finish this first. So here, these ones, and there's some sort of loop in there that shouldn't be there, but this is just a sample, so I will actually just put it into the stitches later. And then I'll come into the last 6 stitches, and now I'm finishing it there. So now the heel has been done on both sides. So that is our heel now. And since this video is only about the heel, I won't go any further. There's this here video where I show the whole sock, so you can go to the description and get that one. But if I was to continue this, I would then start picking the stitches directly on the same needle here and then continue the sock. So that was the reason to start it on the purl side. So here is the heel done in the way that I have done hundreds and hundreds of times. So if you have also been worried about how to turn the heel of a sock, hope this video helps you. Until next time.